Zen Money Team.
Hey, what's good, humans and aliens? It's gLife here with Zen Money Team, and we're just going to go over a couple things with making our zones. So here's the zones we made last week. Pretty good reactions, right? So we got a reaction off of here, got a reaction off of here. So what I want to do is show you just how we instead of creating brand new zones from scratch, this is what you should be doing every day. You come to your zones and you adjust them. So in theory, the weekly zones won't need adjusting every day, but let's take a look at these daily zones. So we'll go into a daily time frame, hit that option R, we'll give you a nice cleaner screen here. Okay, so we're going to blank out the weeklies and the 4 hours. Now we're mainly looking at our dailies here. You know, it looked like one right there. I would put one right there. I wonder if we can just option H, drag a second one out. Sometimes you can't. Command. Yep, okay, we were able to double that just by command and holding. So there's one here. And that might be it for the dailies. So let's take a look at the 4 hours. You know, it's like if there isn't one right there, there should be, because this is where, interesting, I mean that's where the wick stopped. Wicks all over. Looks like it actually, the bodies stopped here. In hindsight, the zones work, you know, you just everything's easier in hindsight is all. So maybe this would be a good one too. Oh, there is one there, couldn't see it. What about like right here? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's pulling multiple ones? Ugh. I don't like that. What have I done, dude? Okay. We'll leave that alone now. Let's take a look at the volumes. All right, we got our volume profile, and I think we had a VWAP. Let's put another anchored VWAP. That was the low. Let's put another one though, just right here, as we'll see what that does. Okay, and we will put it in our volumes, and then let's look. This, yeah, volume profile is the same. Let's look at our fibs. So were these highs to lows or what? We know down there was the low and up here was the high. Okay, so let's take these newer ones. We're going to go to this low to that high, and then this high to this low. Okay, and these are our fibs, and gaps is often the bigger one as far as work goes. Like we're looking at gaps. Okay, so we need to pull up some indicators for our gaps. First one we're going to pull up is our CME gap finder, because that is a nice gap right there. Let's see if we can put one right there. Okay, and then these gaps actually, they look filled because there's lines going through them, but we'll have to see. So we'll get rid of this one. Now we'll put on our session volume profile. as we have mentioned, this does a volume profile for every single day. So there's a gap right there. Let's see if we can just keep folding out new ones. There's a gap right there. And they're not actually gaps, but what they are, they're naked. We've talked about what these are, but they're this is a little mini profile. Here is your point of control. It has not been tapped again. So you call that a naked daily point of control. You got one right there. You also have one above us. Okay, see, that's the problem though when I get two of them going. Okay. That's a naked daily point of control right here. And it does look like that's one as well. So those are our nearby daily points of control. And we also want to add in single prints, which I just don't know enough about to talk about. I know how to identify them. Go to style, single prints, put a big bright yellow. Hopefully we'll be able to spot them. It's weird. Okay, there's one. There's one. Looks like they've been filled. There's one. Gosh, it almost doesn't look filled. It's got a line sticking through it here. This one's definitely not filled. So we'll take this as a single print. Just don't know enough about them to know if this one's been mitigated or not. I don't really know how they get mitigated. Because apparently it's more like a time that they spend in that place. I'll go learn about it for the next video. Alright, those are going to be our gaps. Let's open up everything. Oh, we'll open up the zones last because basically we just want to kind of compare. I am going to pull in Smart Money Concepts just so we can see where some 4-hour and daily order blocks would be. Let's see, this looks like a nice order block. I'm just going to draw a few in. We might end up taking them out. But there's one. There's one. Let's look at the dailies. Got a bigger one, whatever. Okay, so we'll just leave those for a second here. And what we're going to do with them is compare those to these other zones. Okay. I think we'll get rid of those other zones now. We'll use volume, 4-hour. Now we will create our own zones out of all this info. That's what we're doing. So let's just draw in what seems to be obvious zones. Where we are right now, very obvious zone of consolidation. Now we will make these zones a little more standoutable. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, these are, actually, I'm just going to use this as a whole entire zone. I do like the order block as a zone. I'll pull it down over the gaps. Okay. And what about this other zone? Yeah, I mean, you got a weekly on a fib. I'm just going to use it as its own zone. And then I did like, you know, a little smaller. Well, first of all, what we'll do now is we'll get rid of those yellow ones. They were just to keep our place. Like this smaller zone, couple fibs, couple SNRs. This would be your point of control, but it changes. Let's do a couple more of these small zones. Like this seems like a great zone. This has a lot of confluence right here. I mean, it's hard not to want. This is its own zone. Now we're basically, everything's in a zone. There's like no non-zones now. Definitely would put these in a little zone of their own. Even just the top is going to be resistance, and you got these support and resistance lines. We might as well throw one on the fibs down here. Then what you can do is I think what I would do now, well, these are our zones, so we will make that a folder. Let's date them, February 5th. Zones 2525. Interesting. Okay. And we're gonna blank out everything else except the volumes, just because I like that point of control. Doesn't need its own zone. See, to me, there you go. That's a nice clean chart. This is what we're going to be working with. Option R. Boom. These are the zones we're looking at least for today. So we're in one now. You got your anchored VWAP and your point of control. So here would be my first trade I would be looking at. It's right where we are. And that's okay. A lot of people don't like, they'd rather like look above us or look below us, but it's okay to look right where you are. So yeah, I would just pull this up even right there to block that wick. But you could tighten it up even just the point of control. And then you just go in where you are, right here. You'd be targeting the top of the volume profile, and we'll just go for that zone. It's a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio right there. That is a tight stop loss. I mean, if I was trying to play, depends how risky you like to play. You could try to cover this whole zone as a stop loss, or you could try to cover this wick, try to cover the bottom of the profile. It's up to you, but I think it makes sense. We would get this first wick, and you're basically just hoping it stays above this wick, above the point of control, above your anchored VWAP, above our custom zone, and that's what you're hoping for. It's what you're shooting for. That's a 2.73. I like it. But again, that's a 4-hour trade too. I'll look at something smaller, but let's look at a couple of these. So definitely, I don't like shorting in bull runs, but coming up to this zone and this zone, they both look like good shorts. I wouldn't target too far down because we're in a bull run. But you never know what might happen. Orange man tweets. Markets go into a free fall. So if it stays under here, it's keeping bearish market structure. It has to break above this to continue bullish market structure. So this makes sense, but also if you're bullish, you could go for that because it has to break that to maintain bullish market structure. So there's a couple 4-hour trades. I mean, another obviously good one would be if we test this wick. There could be SFP of this wick. So even though this is a whole zone, I would look at something like, I wouldn't even get into halfway through the zone. This would be a volume. That's your volume profile. Yeah, I mean, you'd want to just protect for SFPs. What I'm looking at, swing failure pattern. You never know how deep that could go. So it could just barely do it, barely wick it past where it wicked, or it could be a big one. In hindsight, this was a SFP, even though it is falling back down. Look at that V-shaped recovery. So anyway, you could be targeting something lower like that. So I'm going to just hide all these. These are going to be our H4 trade ideas. But even then, you know, even though it's falling right now, I like this idea right here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so this is really more what it is. These top three are your ideas. This fourth one is, yeah, best idea, second best idea, third best idea, fourth best idea. There we go. So we can hide them all like that. Let's go to a lower time frame and look at just a little more local type trades. So depending on your risk tolerance, you could just put a trade on each zone. You could have this would be a trade, this would be a trade, this would be a trade. This would be no trade zone, this would be no trade zone, no trade zone. Definitely, I mean, you got another anchored VWAP right here, so you could short this. You got the top of the volume profile, so you could short this. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking on like a 24-minute or a 1-hour time frame, I'd be looking at, yeah, why not? I'd be looking at this as one. Be looking at this as one. So you're more high probability, obviously. We're just kind of shooting for the top of this little volume profile range. I think those are both good trade ideas. You got one. You could, and then again, like we were talking, I mean, I would just be looking to short a couple of these. I mean, why not just short them all? Those would be your trade ideas. We made our zones, make our ideas. I wouldn't be targeting too far in these shorts because I am bullish. But there's a zone. There's a zone. There's a zone. It's all range plays, you know. Come to the bottom, you're going up. You go to the top, you're going down. That's the ideas. So those are our H1 ideas. All right. Yeah, that's it. Those are the ideas we have. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave. Yeah, we'll just take a screenshot of this and I will also share the chart. Yeah. So, hi Cuppy. Please excuse my animals. They make so much noise. It's really hard. Yeah, so that's that. Those are the trading ideas for Wednesday, February 5th. So, I wish you all luck. I'm out of here. Going swimming. Peace.
Zen money team.
Zen money team.
Zen money, Zen